Good evening. Good evening. Please sit down.
Thank you.
What's your name?
So my name is Prateek Singh.
Okay, Mr. Prateek, 3 attempts you have made.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to UPSC for the first time or you have gone earlier also?
So one time I have given the interview.
Okay, when?
So last year.
And how many marks you got?
151, sir.
Okay. You would have analyzed why did you get less?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
So there was a certain degree of bluffing in my answers. I
Oh.
wasn't sure of some of the answers and I just blurted them out. And apart from that, sir, there was a degree of nervousness also.
Anyway, so kindly sit relaxed with your back to
Yes.
the back of the chair.
Yes, sir.
Relax your body. We'll start. You are from. Tell us something about yourself.
Sir, I was born in Sirsa in Haryana. I completed my schooling from Jaipur in Rajasthan. And after that, I pursued Aerospace Engineering from IIT Kanpur. I graduated in 2019. And since then, I have been preparing for civil services. My hobbies include watching and playing football, playing Fantasy Premier League, and I sometimes like to sketch.
But your address is of Delhi mostly, no? You
Sir,
live in Delhi now. You are a Delhi
for
boy.
the past 1 year.
1 year only.
Yes, sir.
You spent only 1 year in Delhi.
Sir, I have lived 1 year previously in Delhi also during my coaching, and since the past 1 year, my family has been residing in Delhi.
Okay. Can you tell me the GDP of Haryana, please?
Sir, I am not sure of the exact numbers.
Okay. You have an email ID. Who started the email and when?
Sir, I'm not exactly aware, but I have a rough idea. Sir, the
No rough ideas.
Sir, I'm
This
not
is
sure.
another lesson you must learn. There are also no rough ideas at all.
Right,
Get
sir.
out of it. Can you tell me the 5 major events that took place in India in 2022?
Right, sir. So, can I take a minute?
Yeah, sure. Leave it. Let's leave that. Anthropology. Why are people different physically?
Sir, it has to do with the region they live in, their diets,
Diets,
yes, sir.
region. Okay.
Diet, the environmental conditions
Hmm.
where they live in, and genetic factors as well.
Hmm.
So, for example, in the equatorial regions, so due to large amount of sunlight, so the skin it is dark in color, and as we move polewards, the skin becomes lighter.
But
in
how
color.
physical features are different also? Why is that?
So,
Some have sharp nose.
yes, sir.
Some have that depressed nose from here.
So,
Why is that?
several of the differences they are introduced through mutations, and then they are passed on genetically.
How many years does it take to have different physical features?
So it takes at least hundreds of years for a mutation to become recurring in the population.
Tell me about Verrier Elvin, whatever you know. 4 lines.
So Verrier Elvin was a prominent anthropologist who was very much involved in the tribal situation in India. He is known as he had an isolationist policy at the beginning, and with Jawaharlal Nehru, so they
Where did he work?
Sir, in India.
India where?
The central and
India,
northeast
you already
India.
said that.
Yes, sir.
Central India where in Central India? Which state?
Sir, I am not aware of
And
that
where
actually.
else did you say?
It's in northeast India.
Where in northeast? Northeast has 8 states.
So I'm not sure of the exact states.
Okay. You football.
Yes.
Tell me the new trends noticed by you in the latest World Cup. which you noticed, FIFA World Cup, which took place recently?
Sir, one was that teams which are not very high in the rankings, so they performed very well against some top European teams. So Asian teams, they have had a rise apart from sir, African teams also. And sir, for on the refereeing perspective, sir, there were changes that time wasting was penalized in the form of extra additional time. And so that's all I could observe.
Last question. What is the difference between LOC and LAC?
Sir, I'm not aware of the differences.
Thank you.
Mr. Prateek, Aerospace Engineering from IIT Kanpur.
Yes, sir.
Are there not career options in aerospace? It's a very exciting field,
There
even
are,
in
sir.
India.
Yes, sir.
So why didn't you take that as a career?
So civil services was something that I have always wanted to.
I'm not asking you why do you want to get into civil service. I'm asking you why not a career in aerospace?
Sir, in aerospace engineering, sir, I had exhausted, not exhausted, but I had pursued several areas of study during my years of study. And sir, they could not generate satisfactory interest for me to pursue a career.
Aerospace didn't
Yes, sir.
satisfy your instincts.
Sir, I would say not.
Why
for a
would you choose
professional-
this? Why did you choose this in the first place?
So there was a inherent interest at the young age when I first.
And then you lost interest.
So not exactly lost interest, but not completely developed inclination to work here professionally.
Okay, but if you were to join ISRO, at what level would you join?
Sir, I think a young scientist.
A young scientist.
Yes, sir.
Can you name some space startups?
Sir, there is a startup, sir, called.
Just forget about the names. What is the potential of the space startups now?
Sir, currently they are mushrooming in India.
Yeah.
Right.
What is their potential? Will they contribute to space research?
Yes, sir. Sir,
How?
definitely. Sir, ISRO is expanding their operations in collaboration with the private sector. And in addition to that, sir, with indigenization of.
Tell me some recent launches by startups which ISRO has facilitated.
Sir, I'm not aware of the launches.
Okay. What's happening to the Venus mission? ISRO's Venus mission. You're not aware?
So I'm not aware of the mission.
Okay. Now, Fantasy Premier League.
Yes, sir.
Who are your top 3 players?
So my top 3 players, sir, Harry Kane and Erling Haaland and William Saliba.
And how do you score points?
Sir, according to their real match performances, sir, for the strikers, primarily it's through goals and assists. For the defenders, it's through
Do
clean
you play
sheets.
for money or is it just?
No, sir, it's not for money.
But you can?
No, sir.
No.
There is no monetary.
There is no money.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is herd immunity as distinct from hybrid immunity? I'm talking about COVID.
Sir, herd immunity is when, sir, a large percentage of the population is exposed or.
Is infected.
Yes, sir.
How much?
Sir, exact numbers
No, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%.
Sir, it would be above 70-80%.
Above 70, 80%. And then what happens? The virus doesn't transfer itself, get into the remaining 10, 20%.
Sir, then because most of the population has already been exposed to the virus, so the transmissibility of the virus reduces because the body has developed immunity.
No, but those who
towards-
haven't developed immunity, 20%, 30% of India's population is huge.
Yes, sir.
It's in millions. So
Yes,
why
sir.
doesn't the COVID go there?
So the transmissibility, because it has spread so much in the
Okay,
population.
what is hybrid immunity?
Sir, I'm not aware.
You're not aware. Thank you.
Mr. Prateek Singh, I see from your DAF that you have categorically stated that you do not wish to consider Haryana, your home state,
Yes, sir.
as your first preference as home cadre, both for IAS and IPS. Normally, everybody wants to serve in their home state. So, you are quite different. What is the reason?
Sir, since I haven't spent a lot of my time living in my home state, sir, I do not have a very keen affection toward, I would say, a keen, yes, sir, affection towards the home state. Sir, there is no,
You're not attached.
sir, not to a degree that would warrant that I keep it as my first preference.
Rajasthan is your first preference.
Right, sir.
I suppose because you've studied there.
Yes, sir.
Uttar Pradesh is your first preference in the next list.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
Sir, I have also studied in Uttar Pradesh
At
and
IIT Kanpur.
yes, sir.
Alright, now I see again that from your DAF, you have said that you got the award for the best business presentation.
Right, sir.
Formula Student India in 2016.
Yes, sir.
What presentation did you make?
Sir, we were given a problem statement wherein we had to put forth a business statement for the manufacturing of the car that we had made, a proper business plan for the commercial viability and commerciability of the vehicle. So we had to create a plan wherein we had to establish the factory, we had to establish outlets and study as well as study what the general public's perception towards the car would be.
That was the presentation.
Yes, sir.
You've also mentioned that you were in the NCC.
Yes, sir.
What did you learn from your experience in the NCC?
So primarily it was punctuality. So we learned how to be punctual. So punctuality was very emphasized. Sir, apart from that, sir, camaraderie, unity within our colleagues.
Do you continue to take an interest in NCC related matters?
No, sir.
Who heads the NCC? Who is the head of the NCC organization in India?
I'm not aware, sir.
You're not aware. All right. Now, do you follow international affairs? The Pakistan Prime Minister gave a very interesting interview to Al Arabiya, an Arabic TV channel and newspaper.
Right, sir.
Did you follow what he said? There's a lot of, it's in the papers today.
Yes,
Did
sir.
you? So, what was so striking about that interview?
Sir, one is that the Prime Minister, the Pakistani Prime Minister, he has extended a hand of friendship, so as to speak, to reduce the tensions that have recently been heightened between India and Pakistan, and so to sit and talk out the Kashmir issue.
So, is there anything new in that? They always want to talk about the Kashmir issue. We have always said that the only issue which remains is for you to vacate POK. So,
Right, sir.
is there anything new when he asks us to sit down and discuss the Kashmir issue?
So there was also the mention of mediation by UAE on the Kashmir
That
issue.
has been suggested in the past also. They've suggested.
Sir,
But what was unique and striking was that he said that we have learned from our mistakes.
yes, sir.
And was,
regarding
do you
the
think that sort of statement will go down well in Pakistan?
So from my understanding, sir, I don't think that it will go down too well in Pakistan.
Of course, as you know, India has always said that there are not going to be any talks with Pakistan as long as its policy of terrorism continues.
Yes, sir.
So, I suppose our position will remain the same. Now, can you tell me some of the very major terrorist attacks which Pakistani organizations have carried out against India?
Sir, Pulwama attack, and sir, Pathankot Air Base attack, sir, 26/11 in Mumbai, and
The parliament attack here,
Yes,
and some others.
Red Fort attack.
Which Pakistani terrorist organization carried out the Pulwama attack?
Sir, I'm not sure.
You're not sure. And the Mumbai terror attack? Very famous. I mean, it was so well reported, everything. They claimed responsibility.
Sir, there are sir, two prominent organizations.
Which ones?
Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Who heads Lashkar?
Sir, there is some confusion. I'm not sure.
Who heads Jaish?
So, same
Well,
confusion.
Pakistani terror is a major security concern for us.
Yes, sir.
As a student as an aspirant for the civil services, do you follow our neighbors and what they do vis-a-vis India, their activities?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, can you tell me what is the present status regarding the border problems with China?
Sir, the present status is that we are negotiating on some key areas. Sir, for example, sir, in Himachal Pradesh, in Ladakh region, so there are certain areas where the border is still to be demarcated according to both the states. And sir, apart from that, there are skirmishes, regular skirmishes occurring due to the same issue of.
Has there been any resolution of the problem relating to Tawang?
Sir, there was a meeting, but not conclusive.
So it's unresolved.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Prateek,
Yes.
tell me, what is required for the evolution to take place?
So for evolution to take place, sir, there should be a certain mutation, and the environmental, it should be advantageous in the local environmental conditions. And sir, it should be transmitted to the next generation.
Okay. In Delhi, there are mohalla clinics. What are the services they provide?
Sir, basic diagnostic services, primary healthcare services, basically.
Services, particular services, what are they?
Sir, I am not aware.
One, of course, diagnostic is okay, you told. Then your, what is the opinion on Uniform Civil Code?
So Uniform Civil Code is mentioned in the Constitution, and
No, give your opinion, don't say background.
so my opinion is that it should be implemented in consultation with all stakeholders. So
Only in consultation, or we should have consensus or consent?
so both. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay. So thank you so much. Our discussion with you is over.
Thank you, sir.
So kindly wait outside for a few minutes. We'll call you for a feedback.
Right, sir. Thank you.